Today we've got to wipe off the wax on the frame and the fork. We've also got to put the front wheel back together. And then the only other part besides the brakes and the derailleurs is to clean up the kickstand. And that's what's happening on this episode of Featherstone Bicycles. We'll get started by wiping down the wax off the frame. I hope it's coming through on the camera because it's coming out really well. Before I get started on the wheel, I'm going to take the very greasy, grimy bottom of the kickstand and let it soak in the solvent while I'm working on the front wheel. And of course we have the piece that's triangular on one side, round on the other, has the divots in it that holds the kickstand in place up or down, also in there, and there's the little pin. And we'll put that in the solvent as well. All right, to get started on relacing the wheel, I'm first going to use some of my Finish Line dry Teflon bike lube on the threads. Just to make the spoke nipples get on there a little bit easier. And then we have, of course, made a drawing when we took the wheel apart, and so we can now know how to start the spokes at the beginning. And basically what we do is we line up the valve stem hole with any hole on the hub, and then we count 1, 2, 3, 4 from that hole to the right. We consult our drawing, and we see that that is a spoke that goes under. So again, here's the hole that lines up with the valve stem hole. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this spoke comes in from the top, goes under, and it lands 2 holes to the right of the valve stem hole. So we put a spoke nipple on that, and then we have this hole lined up with the valve stem hole again, and we count 3 to the left, and this one is an over. 1, 2, 3, 1. So this one comes from underneath. It's an over, and it goes 1 hole to the left of the valve stem hole. Then we have to line up the hub to find the holes on the other side. And again, they are not directly in line with the holes on this side. They're actually right in between. So we want to find the hole that is just down from this hole on the right. So it's going to land right about here. We line it up, and we see that that's this hole right here. I put my skewer in there just to remember or consult the drawing, and that's an over. So that's going to come in from the back side, from the underside, I should say. And that spoke comes to 1 hole, the first hole to the right of the valve stem hole. Just double checking this again. And then on the left side, we go up. So we want to find the hole that's right about here. And that's going to be an under. So that hole is right here. And that's going to come in from the top. And it goes to the second hole to the left of the valve stem hole. And then what we need to do in order to get started is that every spoke is that's the next one over. So these alternate on each side. So this is under, that's going to be an over, this will be an under, over, under, over, under, over. So the next under, which I like to do the unders first because then it's easier to do the overs. The next under is going to be 4 away from the previous spoke, not counting the valve stem hole. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's going to land right here. So we're going to put it in to this hole. And it's going to land right there. And then that's all you need to know. You can just carry on from there. Before we put it on the tuning stand, we're going to have to put the axle in. So again, we're going to use some of our Teflon. Get that first cone nut started on there. Put some grease in the race on this side. Put some grease on the other side. Again, just like the rear wheel, we're going to make sure we're even all the way around before we start the truing process. We're going to tighten all the spoke nipples up until the thread of the spoke just disappears. Then we'll go around and evenly tighten all the spokes with our spoke wrench, and then we'll actually start the truing process with the calipers on the truing stand. taking the kickstand out of the solvent and then fishing out my other parts, which I'll probably have to do with a magnet since this solvent has gotten so dark. And there they both are. That was easy. I think we're actually going to just let these soak longer, and we'll get to that next time. But I do have to take this apart. So to get this apart, I put it in the vise like this, just to the point where I can squeeze it in a little bit. Wasn't enough. Try to do this so the camera can see it. It's not going to be easy. There we go. So now we've got the little pin that holds that in place. Put that in there. And the solvent. This is the spring. That's going in there. This is the little retaining ring. And then this is the ring at the very back, which the outer pin that holds the whole thing into the frame, that slides into that part. This is really, really one greasy kickstand. That's going to be it for this episode. Thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking with me. Remember, you yourself can make a difference in your own community. So check out the link in the description for an Army of Normal Folks podcast. I think you'll enjoy it. Hope to see you next time on Featherstone Bicycles.